What's up, everybody? It's Sebs. Welcome back, where we do reactions from the treadmill. We typically react to Norm Macdonald videos, other comedy videos, and once in a while, we try to throw in some stuff for learning. Honestly, main reason I do this, it's let's call it what it is. All of us have that little bit of narcissism in us. It feels good for to get to know y'all and hear from you guys if you enjoy some of the material. So there is that part. But the other, I'm trying to document stuff, honestly, for my kids, for them to have 20, 30 years later from now or beyond when I pass. I want them to see the stuff I was checking out and what my interpretation of those things were. So that's what we're doing here. So I have been reading Jordan Peterson's second book. Jordan Peterson has become important in my life. Didn't expect that a few years ago. I was one of those. I was somebody who was very quite liberal, and I actually mean that in the wrong sense though, because I feel like liberal is being misconstrued and misused. More of a leftist, right? And a lot of Jordan Peterson's stuff helped me come much more in the center to that, and honestly slightly more conservative to that. But he is not an alt-right person. Hasn't made me that way. It's just helped me have a little bit more self-responsibility. So he has this video on the podcast, the Triggernometry podcast. Honestly, I've been seeing a few things. It's pretty dang funny. And he was on there with a video of why communism doesn't work. So let's check that out. Hit like and subscribe if you enjoy this. Comment down below your thoughts. And to my kids, whenever you're watching this, hi. Dad says hi. All right, let's check this out.
John, we were circling around the idea of socialism and communism a little bit. I wanted to ask you, given what you as a psychologist know about human beings, do you think that there's something fundamentally incompatible in that worldview with humanity? Or do you think, quote unquote, it hasn't been tried properly?
Oh, well, it hasn't been tried properly means that the world hasn't been fortunate enough to have me run it. That's the constant claim. Well, it hasn't been tried properly. What that means is, well, I understand this system deeply, and if I was in charge or people like me, then it would work. It's like, no, it wouldn't. That's what would happen is you'd be wiped out by the next batch that were even worse than you. That's what.
I don't know. Sorry, nothing to say there. Just okay. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Would happen. So it's such an arrogant claim that it hasn't been tried properly. But having said that, like, it's not, I understand the motivation for, like, the desire for an egalitarian distribution of valuable resources, and we should walk through that. So,
Sorry, before he goes, yeah, my quick thought on that same thing, like, for example, the thought that my children are going to reach different levels and have different levels of experience of success and stuff makes me sad. But it is what it is. But yeah, like with what he's saying, like I get it, and I don't. Sorry guys, I don't know what to say. He's just doing good stuff here. Let's keep checking it out.
Systems have a tendency. Marx commented on this, but it's much deeper than Marx's realization. Systems have a tendency to radically distribute resources unequally. And that's really destabilizing.
Yep.
So, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One reason is, as you get more, you're offered more. So I'm in a position now where I am offered an indefinite array of opportunities. And I don't need them. I'm not ungrateful for it, but once you're saturated with opportunities and your time is completely taken up, more opportunities can't be utilized. And so, and if you have money, well, it's way easier to make more money. I mean, you can lose it too, but it's way easier to make more money once you've got started. And so once you are educated, you have some capital, you have a connection network, and then let's say in addition to that, you're well known, you can just multiply that endlessly. But then on the other end of things, if you have nothing, well, you can't even afford to get started.
Yeah.
So like if you start a business, the most difficult customer to get is the first one. Once you have 10, getting 100 is not that hard. But getting from 0 to 1 is virtually impossible. And so 0 is a really tough, it's a hole that's really hard to climb out.
Here's the thought with this. I've seen that on this YouTube channel. Getting from 0 to 10 subscribers took me like 4 months. Getting to 100 took longer than that. I started this channel a year and a half ago. No, 2 years ago. We didn't hit 1,000 subscribers until like just a few weeks ago. That's interesting. But going from 1,000 to 1,300, it's been like a week. Yeah.
Motive. And it's not good for society to have a lot of people at 0. So there's this propensity for people to fall off the end and to degenerate down to 0, and another propensity for resources to aggregate in the hands of very, very small number of people. And it doesn't matter what dimension you measure that on. So if you look up among basketball players, you look at successful, number of points scored. There's a few people way out on the extreme. If you look at number of records sold, records produced, songs written, popular songs written, it's like 5 composers account for 95% of the classical repertoire. But it's only 5% of the music they wrote that's played. And so you see that happening in 2 ways there. And
Bill Maher just talked about this on his show. How we might have to pull it up for another video. But he talks about, this was just from like a week or 2 weeks ago. So right now it's March 25th. Yeah, Bill Maher talks about with the Grammys and equitable outcomes. He brought up that, okay, what the purpose and the hope of streaming, right? Things like Spotify, SoundCloud, the hope of that is that because it now creates an even playing field, the barrier to entry is eliminated, you would see more equal outcome. Like you would see the people at the bottom starting to go up, and maybe the people at the top slightly, right? Like they were hoping for a shift. Sorry, you can't see my hands. They were hoping for like a shift in the curve instead of going like this. They were hoping it would start, it wouldn't become such a hockey stick, right? As streaming came out, this hockey stick of a line got even more exaggerated. You had even more people entering, but getting those first few thousand people to listen to it became harder because there's just more. Like, look at me. Who the freak wants to watch my channel? There's millions of people who are just as narcissistic and self-centered as I am trying to put up our own stuff on YouTube, right? So but YouTube made it possible. But the hockey stick, because of that, no barrier to entry, it's becoming more exaggerated. Yeah. See that? Yeah. You see, I mean, I just don't know where you don't see this.
The problem with that is that it produces this radical inequality in society. And that's really unsettling because you have a mechanism that's very deeply embedded within you that runs, as far as we can tell, on serotonin, a fundamental brain chemical. And the degree to which serotonin regulates your negative emotion is dependent on your status within the group that you strive for status within. And what that means is that if you're on the bottom end of the status hierarchy, you're much more prone to negative emotion. And that actually hurts you physically. You'll die sooner. You'll age faster. You'll develop all the age-related diseases faster. It's a real calamity psychologically and physically. And so there's endless motivation to work against that tendency for resources to be distributed so unequally. The problem is we don't know how to do it. It's such a powerful force. We don't know how to do it and simultaneously maintain creative and productive endeavor, for example. So, because you want everything to be more productive, right? Because you try to wipe out absolute poverty and maybe even give everyone you can a certain amount of luxury. And maybe that's even better.
Absolute poverty is almost gone, which I went through the UN, their data, like it's insane. I had no idea. It was
better for the planet because richer people tend to take better care of the environment. So you want absolute wealth to rise and you don't want inequality to become too extreme. But the systems that have been set up to manage that are not good at it. They don't work.